Hey guys, welcome to the Talk Nerdy to Me podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Kirk, and this is the podcast where we talk about all things nerdy.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy some tech talk. Take two.
Takes you. Oh shoot, we're good. We're good. It just looks different.
This is a great start to this.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this is episode number 11 of the Talk Nerdy to Me podcast.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome.
Another podcast in the bag after this one.
Yeah. You may have noticed this is Wednesday that you're listening to this, if you're listening to it on the day it comes out, assuming. Rather than Monday, which we were trying to do before. We're changing things up a little.
Yeah, we're going to go with Wednesday. It just works better with the schedule, I think, of both of us to be able to record Sunday evenings, because we're never doing anything Sunday evenings, and then we can post it out. Now,
This is Tuesday.
I'm sorry. I was sick.
Mm-hmm.
Got destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. But this will still be out tomorrow, so
yeah,
we'll be good. Going forward, though, we'll record Sundays, which is great because that gives us the whole week, and then like midweek we'll release it. So
yeah,
it'll be good.
Exactly.
And that way too, I think like Sunday evenings specifically, because at worst you're working till 5 on Sundays. 6. So
I mean,
it works. Now we would have had this. I mean, we've been wildly distracted tonight, actually.
yeah. Well, I got here like 7:00. It's now almost 9.
9. Yeah, we've just been playing Fortnite and trying to and like talking about random stuff. Doing everything we're not supposed to. We did
not just playing mobile Fortnite.
No, but you know what? We were productive because we did get what we said we'd get done last week. Done.
That's true. Remember
happened.
when we set a goal?
We did the goal.
We met the goal.
We met the goal.
So, if you remember, our goal last week was to get some photos and stuff done and a couple of video things. Main thing was the photo for our company's branding stuff.
Yep.
So the big thing was banner photo,
Which we did.
For YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, because they all use banner photos.
All of them.
So that was a big thing that we were trying to do, and we got that done.
And I think we got a good one. I really like it. I think it was framed pretty well. So if you haven't checked that out, go check out our stuff. But it looks good.
Yeah. That's all linked below.
I'll link below. Shameless plug number 1 for tonight.
There'll be lots of plugs.
But there's also a lot of exciting things in the tech world.
Mm-hmm.
Some cool things more projects that are hopefully down the pipeline.
Yep.
Lots of exciting stuff to talk about. What do you want to talk about first?
Well, I guess we'll have to talk about one big thing that has happened since our last podcast. Not since it went out technically, because it didn't actually go out till last Wednesday, when we intended for it to go out earlier.
Yeah.
But now we're going on Wednesdays. Was the Apple event last week.
And I am super excited.
Yeah.
Like, 2 of the 3 products announced are exactly, actually probably more than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Mainly because the Mac Mini has removable RAM still. That was like...
Well, it didn't actually in the last version.
No, yeah. Right, like, they brought that back, which is thanks, Apple.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate that.
When
Can you
Apple,
do that more?
When does Apple bring back interchangeable parts and things like that?
What do they do? USB-C, interchangeable RAM, like...
2 things that are very...
Wow.
Yeah, it's not exactly Apple, but like I guess it's good anyway. Mm-hmm. It's not completely out of the question for them.
Yeah, no, it's good. Good for us. Good for the consumer.
Definitely.
But, let's dive right into my favorite thing. I said I was most excited for the Mac Mini, and I had my highest hopes.
For sure.
When we were talking about it, I said, as long as I can get like a 6-core i7 in it, or i5, a 6-core processor, I'll be really happy. And then, because I'll be able to get... And then I also said, as long as it's cheaper than... anything else, of course, because it's Mac Mini.
Exactly.
And they delivered like the exact device I was hoping for at a price I'm very happy with.
Yeah.
Especially when you consider that there's no way in hell I'm going to ever buy the RAM. Like, I'm just going to up that after the fact. I'll order it at the same time I order the machine, but not from Apple. Sorry, Apple.
Yeah, so it starts with a quad-core 8th Gen i3 processor.
Yeah, avoid that one.
Yeah, it's pretty fast for what it is.
No, yeah, I say avoid that one, but if you're
depends what you're using it for.
If you're a regular user.
If you're just an average user who does more consuming than creating.
Yep.
That's the thing, right? If you're into, obviously...
media centers or anything like that.
Anything like that. If you're doing video editing, if you're doing graphic design, if you're doing photo editing, anything like that, you want a faster processor to be able to handle it.
Yep.
obviously Macs aren't really built for gaming much, but
we'll
same sort of thing on some of the higher end ones. You could game no problem. This here, not so much, right?
As a stock form, we'll talk about that because I've got some plans, so we'll go into that too.
But anyway, it's not quite as capable as what you get on the higher end ones. So you can hop up to your 6-core i5, and you can even bump that up to a 6-core i7.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting the 6-core i5, but either way, and I was thinking about it at first. I was like, oh, I'll just go with the 6-core i5. Like, there's not that big of a difference, but it's also not that big of a difference in price when you look at it overall.
Yeah.
So what Mac Mini I plan to get, because I've decided this is the computer I'm going to get. I'll have it probably around Christmas time. I've got a full setup planned, but I'm going to go with the i7. I've decided it's an extra 240 Canadian, so I'm not exactly sure what that is US, but for me that's worth it, and I also get a student discount, so I'll save some money on that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the i7 just so it's a little more future-proof. I'm going to go with 8 gigs of RAM, and I'll upgrade that myself to 32.
Upgrade it to 128.
Can I think 64? I don't know. Like this
64 is what you can buy it maxed out as.
Yeah.
But most Macs you can actually upgrade them to twice as much as what Apple says.
Well, Apple says this can only go to 8 gigs.
Yeah, and it can go to 16.
Yeah.
And just like my iMac, I've read things on the same thing. Apple says it can go to 32, but it can go to 64. I think it's what it is. Or maybe, I don't know, whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But I would, but I actually couldn't find 64 gigs. And when I did find one set of 64 gigs of like that style RAM.
Yeah.
It was just way too much money. Like I'm not paying.
It's not necessary either.
No. And the other thing about it is, if in the future I did end up needing it, like, and I haven't already upgraded my Mac Mini, like,
exactly,
then I'll go for it.
Then, yeah.
So yeah, and then I'm gonna go with the 256 gig SSD, and that's the one that's up for debate. I just don't feel like paying that much for more storage when a 512 or a 1 terabyte. Neither one of those are going to satisfy my needs. I'm going to need more storage anyway. Mm-hmm. Like, even one bigger project for what I plan on doing in the future is going to need more than a terabyte. So no matter what way I look at it, I need more storage than what I can get. So I'm just going to go 256. I'll keep my OS, 2 of them, because I'm going to dual boot. We're talking about the gaming thing. I'll bring that up. But I'm going to get the 256 gig and partition that right down the middle. Put Windows on it and Mac OS.
10 gigabit Ethernet?
Yes. I am actually going to get that upgrade. So I was thinking about it, and if in the event that we ever moved to a studio, that would come in handy.
Definitely,
it would come in, and it's $100 extra with the student discount. So another thing that's kind of future proofing is worth it for me. I'm going to go ahead and do it.
Yeah, and I think you're in a decent. You're not too overpriced here or anything by any means.
1,700, I think.
1,759 Canadian.
And that's not US.
That's just the regular.
Yeah. Sorry, not
you save
student.
You save like $100 or something on the student.
And you do save some on the upgrades as well, so that stacks. But
so it's definitely a machine for the price.
Now that's not the all-in price that I'm going to be looking at, because of course I need to add my monitors on top of that, and
extra RAM,
and external GPU. So it's going to be quite a bit more expensive, but it's exciting because what I plan to do is get a external GPU. I know the Blackmagic eGPU is out there, but I'm not going to go for that one. It's not upgradable beyond that.
Yeah.
And I kind of want. I know it's Mac. It's weird to say, but I want a little bit of upgradability in it. It has that RAM. I can always upgrade storage. I think that i7 is going to last me quite some time.
Definitely.
And I'll get one of the eGPU hard external closures, like the Razer one or something like that, and I can throw in whatever graphics card I can find that is compatible.
Yep.
And with that setup, I now have a 6-core i7. I have however much RAM I stick in. It's going to be 32 more than likely right off the bat. And an external GPU. Like, that is a beast of a system.
It's impressive.
It is. Yeah. And at that price, what I'm looking at right now, if I was to buy like a new GPU and stick with something like a NVIDIA 1050, which not very powerful but pretty cheap. So I'd be looking at roughly $600 for the eGPU setup as well, roughly $300 for the RAM, and then external storage. That's separate. I'm not going to count that in the price because that can vary as time progresses.
Exactly.
So about an extra $900 on top of the price.
Yeah.
Before I add the monitors.
Yeah. So monitors can really vary depending on.
Yeah.
Where you go there.
And I'm still on the fence. I'm on the fence between one ultra wide or two 4K panels. Mm-hmm. Pricing wise, it depends on the ultra wide, depends on 4K panels.
Yeah.
But I want something color accurate, which is probably going to push me more towards two 4K panels because getting a color accurate, nice curved regular panel is going to be a challenge. So
yeah,
I want ultra wide, so we'll see.
You get one of those Samsung ultra wide gaming monitors.
Yeah.
$1,400. Yeah, $1,400.
Yep, that is. I mean, yeah. So I can go up as far as that. Won't be what I'm getting, but I'll figure it out. And so I'm getting into the $3,000 price range.
So just for comparison, my 27-inch iMac was just over $3,000 when I bought it. Mm-hmm. I think it was about $3,500.
And still similar pricing to what the iMacs are going for now.
Yeah, and that hasn't changed much. Obviously, they've been updated. They were updated in 2017. Mine's from 2015, so it's a little different.
Yep.
But mine was what is the process? I can't even remember what processors. I think it's an i5.
Quad-core i5.
Yeah, quad-core i5. It came just with the base 8 gigs of RAM. I do have a terabyte of storage in it, terabyte Fusion.
Yeah.
But it's pretty basic specs. Otherwise, I mean, there's only an i5 and your 8 gigs of RAM. Like it's not
basic, except that 5K display.
Except the display. Yeah, I mean,
that's a 5K. And like so we can get the 5K displays that are on Apple's website. Definitely not something I'm going to go for. They're fantastic, but they're not as versatile as I would like. Like they kind of only work for the Mac ecosystem, and well, that's great. Like if I wanted to hook up an Xbox or something to it, I couldn't. Not that I would, but I don't like being locked in that much. So ironic coming from an Apple user.
Yeah. These the LG Ultrafine 5Ks are $1,700.
Yeah, I'm not paying that much for it either, so not even close. Not gonna happen. And I might start out with just one 4K monitor, but the plan would be to have two or one ultra wide. So pricing is gonna vary considerably, but for around that $3,500 mark, if I go with two monitors, what I'm gonna be left with is an extremely capable Mac Mini. Yeah. Like, it seems crazy to spend that much on a Mac Mini, but, like, that is a wildly capable...
Seems nearly as capable as some of the Mac Pros that... from a few years ago.
Yeah, I know, right? So, it's crazy. And I also have a bit of future proof. I can upgrade the RAM if I needed to. I won't need to for a while. And then that eGPU, I can upgrade that video card in it.
Yeah.
So, and what this is going to allow, so I alluded to the dual booting Windows, I'll be able to play some games. I'm not a big gamer, but I would like to be able to play some games when I get the urge. So I'll be able to have this as a sort of...
It's a capable machine for the average gamer.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, more than capable, actually. I mean, if you compare that with... Now, I'm not too familiar with what limitations there are on eGPUs, because I know it's going to be with Thunderbolt 3. You're not going to get the full performance of some of the higher-end cards. Yeah. But you'll come close.
But it's pretty good.
Yeah, like, definitely pretty good. So I'll get some benchmarks when that eventually happens. And that is... I'm super excited. Like, it's the definition of what I wanted. Yeah. So thank you, Apple.
So that's pretty good. So other things that they announced, because we just haven't really moved off the Mac Mini yet. Of course, a new MacBook Air.
Yep.
Which is a big one. It finally brings the MacBook Air into 2018. Because if you look at my computer right now, it doesn't look like it's from 2018.
Nope.
This old MacBook Air from 2012
are much better. I'm a little confused by the lineup of Macs right now.
It's kind of strange that they kept the MacBook.
Yeah, just a regular MacBook.
Yeah. Although I guess that's something that's a little smaller.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, the MacBook Air is not the smallest option.
No.
But
it hasn't been for a while, because Apple has discontinued the 11-inch last year.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
So that's the thing. So the MacBook Air, it's only a 13-inch. That's all they make this time. They're still keeping the old 13-inch MacBook Air. Don't buy that.
No. Don't buy that.
It's not a $1,200 machine.
It's not.
Okay, so this is the base specs on the old MacBook Air that is currently for sale. It's a 1.8 gigahertz dual-core i5 with 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs SSD storage.
Yeah. That's a 5th generation i5.
Yeah.
We're in 9th.
Yeah. Well, the newest Macs only have the 8th.
Yeah. But...
They haven't had the 9th yet. But $1,200 for that machine is not...
Like, I don't... It's still a fine machine, especially if it's just for light. Like, Mac OS is so well optimized that that's going to be great.
The big thing on it, though, is the display.
Yeah, the display is not nice. No. Like, for what you're paying. So what I would suggest
is not worth that much in 2018.
Not at all. But... That doesn't mean it's a bad device. Just for the love of God, don't buy it new. Yeah. If you're going to buy it, go find it used.
Oh, absolutely. A used MacBook Air is...
Yeah.
You know, you can get that in the $700, $800 range.
Yeah, I mean,
that's not a bad
$450 from like...
Yeah, even down in like 500 range.
Depends on what you're going for. Maybe you might get stuck with 4 gigs of RAM or something like that. But at that point, I don't think the 4 to 8 gigs of RAM in this particular device is going to make a difference because you're already pretty limited. Like,
yeah,
it'll help. It would help for sure if you can get the 8 gigs. Go for it. But
I mean, I definitely see in this old machine just with its 4 gigs. Like, I can't do much with it. I don't do much with it because I can't. That's what I use my other desktop computer for. Is just for on the go.
Yep.
But like, you can't, like, once you open up a few programs, like, you start to realize it's slowing down.
And
it's got to load up each program again when it goes to
take some time.
Yeah.
So what my biggest confusion comes from with the MacBook Airs is somebody who's buying a MacBook Air is probably using it for school. Like, you're not a power user.
Yeah.
It's not that capable. Even the new ones are dual core. Can you get a quad core? Like, I don't think you can. I think it only goes up to a dual core i7.
I think so. I think you're right.
Yeah. I mean, you do get Thunderbolt 3 ports, and you do get a great bunch of stuff. But, like, you're not a power user. I feel like the price gap is not that big.
Dual core i5.
Wow.
As far as you can go.
Yeah. So
8th gen dual core i5.
I'm just going to pull up.
1.6 gigahertz.
Yeah. So, and that's at 1670 Canadian. So let's just pull up quickly what the MacBook Pro base model is. But from what I was looking at, it's not that huge of a difference.
No. Once you spec out a MacBook Air, you're getting close to pricing of a base model MacBook Pro.
And it's better.
The MacBook Pro is definitely a more powerful machine. The difference is when you're speccing out a MacBook Air, to spec it up to that price requires adding in all kinds of storage.
Yeah.
Whereas with the base model MacBook Pro at just a little bit higher price means that you're overall you're starting off with a lot less storage, right? You could be starting off with 128 gigs of storage in a MacBook Pro. Okay,
so this is interesting actually. So the base model non-touch bar 13-inch Mac Pro is still for sale. I knew that. It's actually cheaper. Than the.
Slightly.
Yeah, it is. It's cheaper than the dual-core i5. With 256. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at this. It has the right display. So $1,439 Canadian for the base model MacBook Air, and so a little over $200 more to go to a MacBook Pro. When you actually spec those up to something usable, if you're kind of more of a power user, I feel like you're better off going with the MacBook Pro.
For almost everyone.
Almost everyone, and if you're not a power user, go for the new iPad. Like, seriously.
Well, that's the thing, because unless you're doing, like we get into again, all kinds of video editing, things like that, where, actually having a desktop OS isn't really almost necessary.
And we're on that verge where if you're just doing personal projects, you could very well pick up LittleFusion and just hammer that out. Like, it's very capable.
Yeah.
Maybe not for collaboratives, maybe not for professional work, but if you're doing personal things and it's not...
There's a lot of big creators out there that still use iMovie on their laptops, and you could use a very capable version of iMovie even that comes free on your iPad.
If all you're doing...
a very, very capable iPad.
Yeah, very. It's incredible. And if all you're doing is YouTube videos that aren't that high production or don't have all crazy, like, just basic talking head type videos...
Talking head... Jump cuts.
You can do jump cuts. LumaFusion can do that. You can do nice transitions. I did some pretty cool little whip effects in it. Takes a little bit more time to get used to, but once you are, it's like, man, it's great. So
So I guess we're kind of going to transition into the iPad here now. We haven't really done that. But, okay, iPad Pro. That's the final new thing that was announced.
Give me one, please.
They're incredible. Yeah. Like, the benchmarks on this from people who've got them early, right? Reviewers and things like that, they're insane.
They are like, it's unworldly what these things can do. Now they're limited a little bit by Mac OS or iOS. Sorry,
that's the thing. That's the one problem with them right now, or the only problem that still exists with the with the iPad is that it's it runs iOS. It's an iPad. It's not a MacPad.
Yeah, exactly. But for most people, like in school, students in outside school work applications and stuff like that, where I want to say the majority of people don't go outside of like the Office suite.
Yeah.
That's all available there. And like video editing, you can do it. Like you can, if you were to run a business right now where your quick run and gun advertisements on Facebook ads and stuff like that, all that easily done with an iPad.
Yeah.
Super easy to carry.
And something like the Apple Pencil makes it incredible for anybody, especially like to talk about students again. The Apple Pencil can be great if you're like taking notes or something like that, or it's really good for artists. Like
it goes hand in hand with creation, because even like with LumaFusion, even if I was going to use my MacBook or my Mac Mini for most of my content creation, I could pull out the iPad, I can draw a little animation on it with a screen recording in full res, slap that over to my computer, and use that as an intro. Yeah, because you can just do that. Like
exactly.
I mean, it's an expensive tablet, but when you consider people who are into artistry compared to like a Qualcomm tablet, they can get pretty pricey. Now, I'm sure it's not quite the same, but it's so impressive.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
have everything right there.
Yeah.
So, and it's only going to get better. iOS is only going to get better.
Yeah, and I think they're going to keep bringing more and more things that are going to make it more capable, more like Mac OS.
Yep, kind of fit that pro user a little better.
And we've actually seen a lot of features in the last couple of years from iOS come to Mac OS that were never there before. So you're kind of seeing the two of them come together. And now Apple's saying that they're keeping them as two separate operating systems.
They're just going to kind of work in harmony.
But they're going to work very, very well together, and you're going to see so many more things go between them.
Yep.
So many features.
Like realistically, the only thing stopping me from being able to use the iPad Pro for almost 100% of my work is I don't know if they fixed it, because when I had my iPad, the file structure, and
it's still not there.
It's not quite there yet. USB-C is great because now dongles and docks and all that kind of great things become so much more capable, which fixes half my problems. But iOS needs to be able to read files like .wav files for audio. It can't. My Zoom H1N, I couldn't get the files onto that without first going through my Mac, putting it on the cloud, and then I can get it and bring it into LumaFusion. That makes it pointless, Yeah. And I understand why they do that. It's getting free music on your iPad type thing. They're trying to limit it, I guess. But if they're going to market it towards pro users,
it needs to be able to do pro things.
And files are one of them. And same thing with certain camera files, AVC HD, pain in the ass. Yeah. Couldn't do it. Couldn't get it on there at all. Yeah. So.
Well, it's hard to edit to begin with.
Yeah. Well, actually, once you do get it on there, it's great. But I had to buy a wireless SD card reader to do it. That was like $90, and that's fine, but it's slow. So slow to transfer.
Exactly.
So it's close, but I'd say for a solid 80% of people, the iPad Pro is almost the choice to get.
Yeah. Well, for a lot of people, I mean, they're just kind of
consumers.
Consumer just consuming, right?
Yep.
For lack of a better term.
Exactly.
Right? They're watching, they're reading, they're not creating.
And that's why the Air is really confusing for me, because it doesn't really fit the pro user at all, and it's not meant to.
Yeah, it feels like it would make more sense at $100 less.
Yeah.
Not even a huge drop, just like a little tiny bit less.
Just at the price it is, it's very confusing.
Well, because the starting price is up quite a bit from what it used to be. It's up a couple $100 from its previous starting price.
I remember right around 2012, 2013, when I was going to buy, I ended up buying the Surface Pro 4, or that was not even that. It was 2013, 2014, whenever it was. I was also considering MacBook Air, and I think that was like $1,100 for an i5, 8 gigs of RAM, like a run-of-the-mill MacBook Air.
Yeah,
that's acceptable. Like $1,100 is a great price for a Mac.
Yeah,
but these are not that. Like I know inflation and stuff, but still, it's too much.
But it's hard pill to swallow for that machine.
Yeah,
that price, right?
For what the buyer's going to be using it for, more than likely.
Exactly. That's the thing about it.
Yep. So very, but other than that, iPad Pro is amazing. Mac Mini is amazing.
Yep.
USB-C for days. Thank you.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing that's come to the iPad, and that obviously it was rumored and it was expected, but we still didn't expect it because of Apple.
Yeah, I was
That just didn't seem like an Apple thing.
Like I didn't.
We were discussing this earlier. There's a couple things that seemed un-Apple like in this event, and that was adopting USB-C in their mobile devices.
Yep.
Right? Because with this, you can only assume that next year they're going to have USB-C in their phones.
And if it's not, I'm going to be enraged.
Yeah,
I will not buy that.
It would honestly be pretty ridiculous if they don't.
Yeah.
Right? And also having the Mac Mini bringing back that upgradable RAM.
Yeah, like...
Right? Because the previous version from 2014, that's 4 years, didn't have the upgradable RAM. Before that, it did. Right? But... that was one thing that they just didn't have, and they brought it back.
They really listened to consumers, because the Mac Mini was always great back. It started to become less and less great when the price didn't really drop, and it became really old. Yeah. But it's got a long needed upgrade, and like this is a really powerful machine, especially with the eGPUs. Like that's Thunderbolt 3. Like it's crazy what you can do with that. So I'm really excited, and hopefully we'll see that pretty soon here on set. We'll have to do some videos.
Yeah. We're definitely going to do some videos whenever the time comes that they pick that up. I'm trying to convince you to get it, like, now.
I know. I should.
You should.
But, like, school.
But then you could be one of the first to review it.
Yeah, the problem is I want to be, like, the first to have, like, an insane Mac Mini setup. Like, 2 4K monitors and, like, eGPU, like, whatever I can put in there. I don't know. But we'll do, like, gaming on the Mac Mini, and it'll be actually able to do it.
Yeah.
Minus Mac OS. I would put Windows on there so I can play other than Fortnite, but...
Yeah, because you can't play mini games on Mac OS.
No. It's getting better, but still.
But, yeah, just a lot of game companies aren't supporting it.
Yeah. My Steam library is so vast that, like, 99% of my games wouldn't be able to play. Now, I don't game much anymore still, but it'd be nice to have that option back.
Yeah, just to be able to do it. And by partitioning that at Windows, you'd... and having all that external graphics and stuff like that would be definitely be pretty insane setup.
Yeah, for sure. And I think for me, if I was to pair that with the iPad Pro, for when I'm gone to work, like traveling and stuff like that, I would actually more than likely be able to do 90% of the work I need to on an iPad.
Yeah.
Very rarely, unless I'm like really stuck, we're doing something for a client, and I also have to fly for work.
Yeah.
That would be worst case scenario.
But the great thing about the Mac Mini is that it is so small that you could take it with you like a laptop. Is just that you need to have somewhere to set it up. And
then storage. Set it up in storage. Like hotels are no problem. I can hook it up to a TV, but I also need to bring my storage. But it's very doable. Like I could do it. Worst case scenario, it could happen.
Exactly.
And I'll probably do it just for fun.
Yeah. But why not?
Yeah. So very excited. Very, very, very. Are you gonna get an iPad Pro? It's tempting. It's a lot of money to drop if you're not going to use it.
For me, it's not that tempting.
No. I think for me, the reason why I want it is because it's so cool. It's such a great device. I know I wouldn't really need it.
For me personally, I know that I wouldn't use an iPad as much as I...
Yeah. I would use it as
much as what I would pay for it.
Yeah. I would use it as a glorified...
And the big reason I know this is because I had... way back when I got this MacBook Air that I'm using. Before that, I had an iPad 2. Way back, iPad 2. Right? And I had obviously they're a lot more capable than they were back then.
Yeah.
But I had an iPad 2, but I wanted to get a laptop, right? And I got this, and since then I've hardly ever touched that iPad. I still have it. It hardly runs now because it's just far too new software to be able to really run on it cleanly. But it's just it never really worked for me after I had an actual computer.
No, I can for me, I can see it being used for like script writing or while I'm in school for a lot of the basic stuff I do. Mm-hmm. If I was gonna have the Mac Mini, I would pair that with the iPad Pro. That would be my pairing. I'm gonna keep this laptop for now, but if this was to die, that's when I would go ahead and pick up the iPad Pro. Yeah. Because it'd be my mobile device for school, basically. Yeah.
That's where I differ a little bit, is that if this dies or if I decide to go crazy at some point, which may happen, it'll be a MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
Not an iPad.
Which is perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
100%. You have your iMac, which is still great. Mm-hmm. You have your dedicated... And the thing about the MacBook Pro, the ones that you want to get, you could still go ahead then and dock that to something like I want.
Yeah.
So you could do the exact same thing I'm doing with the iMac Pro. The difference is the initial product is like $3,000 versus...
The big reason why I don't want to go and get a MacBook Pro right now is that it'll be more powerful than my iMac.
Yeah.
And I'll want to do everything on my laptop instead of on my desktop.
It's crazy how they
So what I'm waiting for is to have enough money saved up that I can buy a MacBook Pro and an iMac Pro at the same time.
Would that even be necessary at that point?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, you could do it. It'd be awesome. It'd be cool to see it. But no, the MacBook Pros, yeah, you can definitely spec those out, and they're so capable.
Yeah.
Well, I think that about takes up our time.
Yeah, I think we're gonna
got a little carried away there. I'm really excited.
You can talk about Apple forever.
Yeah, but
we have a lot going on.
Thank you, Apple. I'm so excited. So excited. I can't wait. It's good stuff. Oh, there goes one. There goes two. That's our sign.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching podcast number 11.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace out.